Hey there, welcome back. My name is Katie and this is Louisiana Cooking and Living. If you're new to my channel, we welcome you. And we are in the middle of football season with college football and professional football and of course high school football. But I was thinking that maybe we should share some game day snacks, our favorites, with you guys, so that maybe when you are getting together with people watching the game or going tailgating, you have a little treat you can bring along and share with other people. So these are all going to be over the next few weeks. We're going to do a couple of videos and share some game day snacks with you. So today we are going to be doing a Muffaletta slider. Previously I have done a classic Muffaletta with you guys from Central Grocery down in New Orleans, and I can leave that linked up here in the cards if you want to check that classic Muffaletta out, and you can cut that up into wedges and serve that. But we're going to do a slider version today. And we had to make a slight variation because we went to a couple of different stores and they did not have one of the meats we need, which I do use in that original video. But mortadella is a very difficult meat, I guess, to find around here. I'm not sure why. I've found it many times before, but went to several stores and they did not have it. So we are just going to skip the mortadella today and do our ham and our Genoa salami. So if you are ready, we are going to go ahead and get started making these sliders. It's going to be real quick. So I chose to use these Pepperidge Farm butter slider buns instead of like the classic Hawaiian that people that use. You could use whatever you'd like. I didn't want the sweetness of that Hawaiian bread with the Muffaletta. Although that Hawaiian roll brand does sell a butter version instead of the sweet if you want to try that one. But I was going to go with this classic, or not the classic, sorry, with this just regular butter rolls. And they're also more of a little bun instead of like a roll. So let's take our lids off. Oops. Hopefully that yellow is an indicator of all the butter in here. So the first and very important ingredient we have is this olive salad mix. There's a bunch of different brands. Some come spicy, some are regular like this is. And it's a combination of olives and carrots and cauliflower and olive oil, garlic, spices, some red peppers. Just a little olive salad mix is what it's called. You can see what this is. And I'm going to put this on the bottom bun just because that olive oil can soak down into that bottom part of it. And we're going to put a good heaping amount on each one. If you've ever had an actual Muffaletta, this is a very thick layer on the Muffaletta. The Muffaletta is usually on a seeded Italian loaf that's round. So if you could find some seeded slider buns, that would be maybe even better. Hoping I have enough. I didn't realize it would take the whole jar. Yeah, we have enough, just enough actually to make this many. Now, depending on where you go to get your Muffaletta at a restaurant, sometimes they are toasted and sometimes they are not. We are going to toast these today because that's generally what you see on a slider. All right. The next thing I want to put on is my provolone cheese so it can melt down in the nooks and crannies of all that and kind of hold it together. I'm just going to try and get it to where it fits on the bun best. I'm only putting a little bit on the bottom because then we're going to put some more on the top. All right, so our next layer is going to be our ham. And I just got a baked ham. You don't want a honey ham on this. And then our next meat is going to be the Genoa salami. And then, like I said, the third meat would have been the mortadella, but we don't have that today. All right, we're going to go back with a little bit more cheese. Now we'll put our lids on. Now all we're going to do is, since everything's obviously cooked, just get this in there long enough to kind of get that cheese a little gooey and toast them a little bit. I have my oven preheating to 400 degrees. So the next thing we're going to do is I have, if you want measurements, this is about a third of a cup of butter here. I'm going to add about a, I don't know, eighth of a teaspoon of salt to that butter. I don't buy salted butter usually. I'm using some freeze-dried garlic here. You could just use garlic powder. You could use fresh garlic. And then some parsley. You can use fresh. I just have some dried. Woo! And we'll just kind of spoon this on the tops. Don't want to waste any butter. All right, we're just going to put this in the oven until they look yummy and toasty. Into the oven they go. All right, they're on 400 degrees. I will keep track of how long they're in the oven, and I'll let you know. Hopefully I'll remember when they come out, and we'll be here to taste test. So our sliders just came out of the oven. They took 12 minutes, and halfway through I did put gently laid a piece of foil over the top so that it didn't keep browning on the top, because I want to make sure that provolone got melty on the inside. To serve these, I'm just going to use my wooden cutting board here, and I'm just going to slide this parchment paper right onto the cutting board. And that's how we're going to serve them. All right, I think it's ready to taste. All right, so we have our little LSU plates here. We're going to serve one to my husband, and he's going to tell us what he thinks. And I got mine here, and we're going to take a bite together. Oh, I want to show you. Well, the cheese is gooey, but it's stuck to the bun. So, all right, here we go. Garlicky, cheesy. The briny olives just kind of do a little contrast with all the yummy goodness, the savoriness of the meats. What do you think?
I actually like this bread more than regular muffaletta bread. It's just so,
You get a bigger ratio of the toppings to the bread.
yes. And then the olive salad is, I like it a lot.
Yeah, this is, I think I like this bread better. The other obviously is classic, but I like the fillings. I think you can taste the fillings a lot better in this bread. And I don't know, the butteriness of the rolls and that butter actually on the top, that might help it too. I think the other bread is also a little drier than this is.
Right.
So this is definitely a winner. All right. Excuse me, I have to get the rest of that bite down. So I'm gonna leave a little playlist here of party foods. We're gonna have some game day snacks, like I said, over the next few weeks. And there's also some other party things that you could just kind of go through that list if you want to and find other enjoyment things that you would enjoy watching your football games of choice. So if you haven't subscribed already, we'll hit the little subscribe button here. You can touch that, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.